What did your crush do that absolutely killed your interest? Bragged about drinking and driving. He told me that he and his friends have a nothing under 100 club, where they drink and then drive on the interstate going 100 plus mph and have to send a full-length Snapchat video of the speedometer to each other. 2 of my friends had been killed by a drunk driver 3 months prior. Revealed his list of conquests. Not even my brother knows how many women I've slept with. Then he offered to take my virginity in the back of his pickup truck. I passed. She asked if things didn't work out if I would mind if she went out with my roommate. I said I couldn't possibly do that to him and left. He talked about how he and his friends used to abuse farm cats. They talked about one that was buried and then run over. I did a quick 180 and absolutely hated him. He tried to discreetly take photos of my feet. Nothing against people who are into that. But the way he was going about it was super creepy. Kissed me and then, after he pulled away, told me he has a girlfriend. Stole from a homeless person. We were walking together downtown and she saw a bucket of coins in front of a pharmacy. She just scooped it all up and kept walking. Guy comes out as she's 20 feet away or so and yells at her. She keeps moving. I stood there and just gave him a $20 and didn't hang out with her anymore. We were 14 and 15. She asked me if I was good with kids because she was pregnant with her ex and that's she's not good with kids. It was the first date. We were teenagers. He lived in a different province, and we used to chat on Skype. He wanted me to think he was a badass or something and would always talk about his drug use. He ended up faking a heroin overdose when we were on chat together. I was hysterically crying and freaking out thinking I was watching someone dying and was trying to figure out how to call 911 in another province when he snapped out of it and told me he was actually okay. I didn't talk to him much after that. Placed the tip on the table before we'd received service. Before using it as a threat. Real ugly. Kept arranging times to talk and whatnot, then always forgot or was not available. Bullied the quiet kid in our class. Huge crush on a fellow uni student. I was invited over for what I expected to be a platonic study date. But hey, any time spent is better than just being alone. Or so I thought. Got there and found another student from class also. Okay. Study group? Turns out her mom and her set us up for a full press MLM pitch. Video. Literature. The works. I stayed a bit not to be rude. Excused myself shortly. And only talked to her in class just in passing from then on. Huge letdown. Edit. MLM means multi-level marketing. AKA a pyramid scheme. Signing up to both buy and sell something. While recruiting others to sell also. You get a % of all of your recruits. Sales also. All the percentages basically flow upward. So the only way to make any significant money is to be high in the tree. Towards the top of the pyramid. It's all bullshit. Basically. Yee. I don't get washing. I just don't really like taking a shower or a bath or anything. This was years ago. On a first date. Tried to convince me to quit my job and put all my savings into gold bars, then demanded I let him read my tarot cards to see if we'd be a good fit. Nope, nope, nope. His sister actually approached me and let me know that he was once arrested for locking their other pregnant sister in their basement. Went on a coke binge while she desperately tried to get out. And went outside to beat their unsuspecting neighbor's van with a golf club. That was a big ol' nope. Talked non-stop about himself and his accomplishments and never asked me one question about myself. Turned out to be the person eating everyone else's food from the breakroom fridge. Told me he was only being nice to me because he was interested in a friend of mine. I see his Facebook posts now. He is dumber than a box of rocks on a treadmill. We were in the process of getting together. She had called over and we spent an afternoon watching movies and sitting close together. By about 8 in the evening she was considering staying later and I was casually encouraging her. She asked if she could take a shower. And I was like, yeah, sure of course. Glad that the bathroom was clean and tidy and I had fresh towels. Anyway, about 4 minutes later she calls me saying she needs help with the shower. And I give her a moment to get a towel around herself and knock on the bathroom door. She opens it completely naked. And shows me that she's having trouble with the shower controls. So I'm kinda unsure whether to make the move or start with the controls, so I go with the flow and show her. This is hot and cold. This is pressure. This is rainforest. And this is power jets. In the 5 seconds it takes me to do this she has sat on the toilet. Which is kinda a weird thing because I need to be able to make the next move. And well, she's sitting on the toilet. Naked, with the lid up, looking all disinterested. I'm thinking, I've screwed it up. When suddenly, kersplosh, and she takes a dump right in front of me. And then another one. I was just, I'll leave you to it. I've been talking to a guy online for a while now. In the past few days, our conversation has jumped from a dating app to texting to phone calls the last few nights. We were really hitting it off on the phone both nights. But he was drinking while talking to me, and each night he got more repetitive and emotional as the conversation went on. The conversation then went off the rails and he seemed angry with me for some unknown reason and hung up. The first night it happened, I gave him the benefit of the doubt because we've all accidentally drank too much sometimes and acted a fool. But 2 nights in a row? Yeah. Any attraction I was developing is gone. I'm not interested in dating an abusive drunk. She got blackout drunk at a party and violently shat her pants. The smell alone completely turned me off of any interest I had. Littered. This was in college. We were acquaintances and had a few classes together. He was cute, funny, and I totally had a crush on him. He asked me out to dinner and a movie. At the restaurant he ordered the most expensive things on the menu. Apps, drinks, lobster, and even dessert. When the bill came he said, "You got this, right?" I was so embarrassed I paid. Then I said I'd skip the movie because I wasn't feeling well, and he asked me to give him $20 for gas and for wasting his time. I didn't and just left. After that he couldn't seem to understand why I didn't want to go out with him again. Had a crush on this girl back in high school. She seemed like a sweet girl. After she rejected me I let it go but still was interested in maintaining some sort of friendship. Found out she was actually pretty toxic behind my back. She made fun of me for a lot of things that really didn't matter. Like hand motions while talking. And I just lost interest in her entirely. Even in a friendship. She said I smile too much. Fuck you. I smile when I want to. I try to find joy. She slept with my dad. Too critical about every word I uttered under the name of sarcasm. We worked together and as I got to know him more I learned he talked badly about everyone. Nurses that are amazing he'd belittle. Talk about how certain people don't know what they're doing because they asked for an ultrasound IV as they were struggling getting a vein on a heroin addict. The paramedics were worthless. Doctors don't know what they're doing. Who he thought was hooking up, and it completely turned me off. He's in his early 40s and into gossip more than my teenage daughter. Dumped me after 9 months because she wasn't ready for a serious relationship. Got into a relationship the next day and was married within 5 months. Ignored me when somebody new and shiny came along. He picked me up for our first date and his car was disgusting. Not talking a few trash items. The entire backseat and floorboard was completely covered in piled up trash. Even up front. I had to step on empty McDonald's bags. Old soda bottles. Wrappers etc. to even get in. And all he said was, "Just move it around with your feet." No sorry or anything. Made me feel like trash too. Like dang. Couldn't even clean up a little? Light the back fence of the school on fire to impress a mate. Edit. Should add that he did it whilst high. Weed is not legal here in Australia yet. Told me that she didn't like me back anymore, but maybe if I waited long enough she would like me like that again. Edit. She told me that I had gotten more critical lately and I changed. So she wanted me to change back before she would be with me. I'll kiss you but I'd never date you. FKU. Told me he liked dating broken girls so he could fix them. See ya later. Boner. Talked shit about every woman in his life. Should have seen the red flags earlier. Didn't realize until later that he probably did the same to me. Apparently having an opinion about anything and speaking for yourself isn't a very ladylike thing to do. Well, it turns out he wasn't interested in girls, so I knew I had to kill my feelings or feel stupid for keeping them. I was giving her a place to sleep when she was feuding with her mother. After weeks of picking up after her, I dared to complain. She had a screaming fit. Packed up her crap and left. I was glad to be rid of her. Until later it got around to me that she was telling people on FB that I kicked her out for refusing to give me a blowjob. There is a lot I can forgive. But that was the first time I had ever had anyone just straight up make stuff up about me. Fuck you. Blamed the world for all his problems. Nothing was ever his fault. Said she was stirring up a group for LGBT youth. I asked her why, and then realized I had been barking up the wrong tree. Told me I wasn't attractive and that she could never possibly like me. Game over. Attempted to get through a horror movie together and he kept letting the movie run, then rewinding the movie so that the horror never came. He pretended to be scared and would whine about the scare that was coming. I guess he thought this was a cute gesture, and would refuse to continue. It dragged a 5-minute scene into a 45 minutes production of his. Oh no, but I'm scared. No, I don't want to. This is terrifying. This was a guy who told me that he loved horror movies. He was full of really weird contradictions, but this was the straw that broke the camel's back. Edit. Holy cow. This really blew up. Thanks for confirming I'm not insane for being annoyed with his actions. Thanks for the comments, a lot of them were hilarious. There were a lot of questions, so I'll try to answer some of them. What was the movie? It was an older J-horror movie called Kuchisaki Onna. I think the English title was something like The Carved Mouth Woman. You mentioned he fast-forwarded. Do you mean rewound? Nope. I do mean fast-forwarded. He would rewind, then fast-forward to get to the beginning of the scene and then pause it and whine about how it was going to be scary. He would also study the paused scene and look at clues to determine what the scare was going to be. Did you hug him? It was maybe the second time we'd hung out together. So even though I was interested in him, it was too early to say we were dating. And I was pretty shy and kind of reserved. So no hugging would have happened even if it all had gone well. What were you doing during the 45 minutes? I remember thinking, is he for real? Then thought that somehow maybe he was trying to tease me. He's a man of a lot of contradictions. So I played along for a while. By the time 15 minutes passed, I'm sure I was sighing audibly. I suggested that we stop and maybe watch something else. He refused. Close to the 30-minute mark, one think I snapped and said words to the effect of "come on. It's probably not that bad, let's just go through it and continue the movie. Don't waste time." He laughed and kept up the one-man show of, "I'm a sensitive man and I'm not afraid to show it." I gave up and just started looking through my phone because this was such a waste of time, and finally I think he realized he'd gone too far and let the scene play out. Did you end up finishing the movie? Nope, because he tried the same thing at the next scary part and I made my excuses and got out of there. Was he a child? Nope. Fully grown male of legal age. Why didn't you just stab him? I considered it, but I wasn't carrying my Dexter kill room equipment and the blood would have been too messy. Just kidding. He was tall and I'm pretty short. Probably wouldn't have ended well for me. Did you let him know why you didn't want to see him again? Nope. I never told him that this was the defining moment in which I lost interest. He was also kind of controlling and had a number of really weird quirks that I won't bore my fellow Redditors with. Basically, we just didn't talk as much after that, and that was that. She invited me over to her place. Not as a date thing, but just to hang out as friends. Her house was absolutely filthy and the glass of Coke she gave me had a hair in it. She was really cute, had a great personality, and was a genuinely nice person. But as soon as I saw cat shit on the floor near the front door and just dirty everything, my crush disappeared and I left in a hurry.